Good morning. Sorry about that. Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5 a.m. Club. And today I'm down here at my favourite haunt. Even though I'm on holidays, I decided to jump on the bus and come down to the city to do my 5 a.m. clubs, because this backdrop, this city, the beauty that it exudes is absolutely world class, and I love using it as an element in my message. So what I want to talk about today is just to provide some feedback on an event that I went to on the weekend up at the Hunter Valley. On Saturday, I was at the Hunter Valley with about 5,000 other people at an event called the Greek Fest, an event that was hosted by the Greek Orthodox community of New South Wales. And I had an absolute ball. It was an event which was a day event at one of the premier wineries, one of the wine estates in the Hunter Valley called Hope Estate. And it had an international star by the name of Dimitris Bassis performing. Dimitris Bassis came from Greece, went through quarantine in order to be with us on the other side of the world and bring a taste of Greece to the many of those of the Greek diaspora who haven't had an opportunity to go back to Greece for at least a year and a half, but many have not travelled to Greece for many years. I was fortunate to have organised a VIP ticket for myself and my wife. Our friend Christine, early in the piece, told us about the event and that there were VIP tickets available for sale, and for a price of I think it was $99 or $100, I got myself 2 tickets which provided entry to the event plus a 3-course meal. So on the day I arrived with Paula, and as you can imagine there were lots and lots of people coming to this event, and there were signs up telling people that there were going to be delays because of the Greek Fest event at the Hope Estate. So we caught up in a little bit of traffic, but we eventually got in, parked up our car, and we looked up on the hill there and saw there was quite a queue in terms of waiting to get in. But we appreciate that we're going to have these sorts of issues at these events, especially during the times of COVID-19, and this is probably one of the biggest concerts that has been presented during the past 12-18 months with COVID. You know, so to have 5,000 or 7,000 people, I don't know what the number is, but it could have been as high as 20,000. But to have these people available at this event was a gift indeed for all of us who have been thirsting and waiting for the opportunity to get a taste of Greece. And to have Dimitris Bassis, one of the most popular and best performers, come to our shores was something which was absolutely sublime. And he gave everything. As I said, he performed from about 2 o'clock till 6 o'clock, so about 3 or 4 hours non-stop on stage, going through a repertoire of different songs, and they were trying to make everybody happy, and there were people dancing and there were people just enjoying the moment. But the day after the event, I saw a couple of news articles on social media which kind of tried to suggest that the event was a failure, saying that there were lots and lots of problems, and the day was terrible, which is the furthest thing from the truth. I actually had the VIP tickets, as I said, and even amongst the people that I was with, there are always going to be people who are going to find something to complain about. Be it, we were in the cellar, a massive cellar, which had some huge wine barrels. The atmosphere there, from my perspective, was absolutely perfect. It was wonderful. And yet, people wanted to be outside, people wanted to mingle, people wanted to people watch, and lots of people, would come up with different sort of complaints. Even though that event was a VIP section, and we had a fantastic 3-course meal. We sat down in a beautiful place with great atmosphere and enjoyed each other's company. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that regardless of where you host an event, and regardless of how good an event you host, there's always going to be people, an element amongst us people, who are going to trash it and basically try and ruin the event by pointing out the negative things which happen. They're the sort of people who come to your daughter's wedding and will complain about almost everything. The dress is too revealing, the church service was too much in Greek, too much in English, I'm sitting at the wrong table with the wrong people, the music is too loud, it's too soft, there's not enough dancing, the speeches are too long, the best man is drunk, the bridesmaid is too short. You name it, there are people who are mismatches, who are always going to be looking for the negative in every event. So one of the things I want to say here is I want to applaud the organisers of this event for having the courage to try something different. For the first time, they did a regional event up in the Hunter Valley. We normally have these Greek festivals here in Sydney, but for the first time, we had a regional event where we tried to do something different, tried to do something better, and from my perspective, it was a real hit. Fair enough, there were a few teething problems, and there are always going to be teething problems when you do something for the first time in a location that you haven't tested before, regardless of how good you are. And fair enough, there were people lining up for food and lining up for drinks, and the queues were a little bit longer than normal. But what we need to appreciate is that we're living in a COVID-19 world where the rules have changed. The rules of socialising and engaging are not as simple as what they once were. You simply just can't walk out of an event and walk back in because there are licensing laws. You can't go to the bar and pick up a dozen drinks for your mates. You can only pick up 2 drinks at a time, and you need to pay with your card and not cash. All these little things are irritants. I understand. I get irritated as well. But we need to learn to live with these things. And as I said, who would want to be an organiser? Who would want to be a volunteer organiser to organise events for Greek Australians who are going to spend all their time and all their energy on social media, trashing your event and trashing your committee. As we say, there are a few issues that need to be resolved, but the organisers, they're not stupid. They know what didn't go well, and they'll adjust and manage that in the future. The fact that a major food supplier pulled out of the event 10 days or 8 days before the event happened doesn't make things easy. And they didn't return the calls to the Hope Estate, which goes to show the lack of professionalism from the groups that were going to be hosting the food element. So, as we say, who would want to be an organiser? People are screaming out for other people to take over, but are other people going to do a better job? These people have 30 years experience of working with Greeks and with Greek groups and organisations and have it down pat. To think that you can replace this experience with a new team is very, very risky. And as I said, who would want to do it? It's a thankless task. You have 5,000 people there, and you're going to have 5,000 different sensitivities and 5,000 different points of view in terms of what music you should play, how you should structure the day, and all of those things. So the point that I'm trying to make here is that rather than be warring and against each other, this is the time that we should be rallying behind the organising committee and supporting them and applauding them for doing something different, applauding them for having the courage, the foresight to host one of the biggest events that has been hosted over the past 18 months for any ethnic community. Not just the Greeks, but I'm talking about any ethnic community. And I'm sure that if we give them support and full rein, that this event up in the Hunter Valley, or wherever they choose to host it, could potentially turn into an institution to be one of the highlights on our annual social calendar. As I said, my wife and I had an absolute ball. Friends of ours that we socialised with enjoyed themselves as well. But as we said, the people who had a great time, the people who enjoyed themselves, aren't the ones who are going to be voicing their opinions on social media. They're not the ones who are going to be whinging, whining and carrying on and making and turning this wonderful event into a sham, because it was a wonderful event, an event which needs to be supported, I guess, is the point that I'm trying to make. So let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, stay reasonable, and most importantly, be careful who you talk with and who you talk to, because the opinions that are being shared on social media aren't necessarily the opinion of the majority. There are people out there who have an agenda, and their agenda is to create fear, uncertainty and doubt, and to basically, I really don't know what they're trying to achieve, because if push comes to shove, we may not have these events to look forward to in future, because people are just going to throw their arms up in the air and say it's not worth the anguish, it's not worth the pain, it's not worth the suffering. But thank God we've got people who still enjoy expressing their Greekness and expressing their love for Greece and doing whatever they can to bring Greece to the Greek Australians. And as I say, there are many, many Greek Australians who will never make it back to Greece because of COVID-19. People of my generation, the baby boomers, may never get a chance to go back to Greece, but to have the gift of Greece coming to Australia is something which is absolutely beautiful and needs to be continued well into the future and of course supported. So let's not forget this. And I just wanted to make that point today because I'm very passionate about this topic. And one of the platforms that I have is Jim's 5am Club, where I get to showcase the beauty of this city of Sydney, this state of New South Wales, and to highlight the good things that we have and to make sure that we empower each other with the wind beneath our wings and that we can focus on the things that are worth enjoying and supporting. So thank you very much for joining me on this morning episode of Jim's 5am Club. I'm going to do a few today. I've come into the city and as you can see, the sun is rising over there in the east. We're going to have some wonderful colours and it's going to be a great day. So take care, Yassas, and to all of those who didn't go to the Greek Fest, I encourage you, if it's up in the Hunter Valley next year, support it, get your tickets, and don't forget, the general admission ticket was only $29. And for the $29, we had a beautiful, beautiful sunny day. If we had the event the day before or the day after, it would have been problematic because it would have been colder, it would have been windier, and it would have been raining. But Saturday was the perfect day for this event. The music was faultless and Dimitris Basis gave it everything he could. So once again, I do want to remind you that the day was a great day and we have lessons that we learnt and we can fine-tune those things and get better at it. But to lash out and to try and crucify the organisers is not the right way to do it, and it's not the way that our parents and grandparents would have handled it in the past. The way to handle it is to get behind them, support them, help them, rather than attack them. Anyway, I'll finish up and come to you from a different location with a different message. And as I said, the goal of Jim's 5am Club is to highlight the beauties of this world around us and to share the culture and the greatness of what we have. Yassas, take care and bye for now.